causes Iranian centrifuges to spin out of control and break. Then there are a series of assassination attempts on Iranian scientists. Then it went to another level with an entire research facility getting destroyed in an unexplained, so far, unexplained explosion. And now the Iranians claim to have shot down an American stealth surveillance drone. It's all leading to this question. Are we already fighting the next war of the 21st century, this one in Iran? Who better to ask than the former chief of the CIA Bin Laden unit, Michael Scheuer, author of the terrific book that will keep you up at night, Osama Bin Laden. Michael, it's a pleasure. Welcome here.
Well, thank you, Judge. Thank
you. What's going on with Iran? I suppose I could also have added the invasion, the destruction of the British embassy with Iranian authorities looking the other way. What's happening?
Well, I think what we're seeing is an increase in covert action activity and lethal covert action activity in terms of killing Iranians. If the media is correct and the leaks are coming directly from the Obama administration, we're engaged with the Israelis and with the British in this assassination business, blowing up facilities and infecting the Iranians' computer system, all of which are more or less acts of war.
Could this happen, in your experience and your understanding of the government, without approval at the highest levels, probably the President of the United States himself?
Only, sir, only with the approval of the President of the United States. There is no lethal operation without the President. There's very little covert action without the President's approval. This is an Obama strategy. And clearly, they don't feel they have public support to go to war, so they're trying to provoke the Iranians into doing something stupid so they have a reason to go to war with them.
All right, Michael, when you say covert action, just to be clear, you're talking about American intelligence agents or American military out of uniform on the ground in Iran killing people.
Well, not always, sir. We could be using some kind of a surrogate, some kind of an Iranian expatriate, someone who opposes the regime. There's always ways to do it without being directly involved. But the precision with which some of these attacks have taken place certainly makes it look like either we or the Israeli service or the British service or all three are somehow on the ground in Iran.
Michael, I'm putting up a map of Iran. It's shown in red, and the countries around that are shown in yellow. It's showing inescapably the United States military in many of our 900 permanent installations around the world almost completely surrounds Iran. Is this an accident, or is this in preparation for the next step beyond the covert action you were just describing?
Well, I think it's been deliberate, sir, over the years. When we first invaded Iraq, they started building air bases with the runways pointed the wrong way for Iraq. They were pointed toward Iran. So they've been preparing for war with Iran for a long time. But I think the bottom line with your map is that it shows that Iran is surrounded by U.S. military power. In the old days, that would have been called containment. But right now, we're faced with, I think part of the reason for the covert action is the Israelis are blackmailing us. If you don't do something, they're saying to the President and to the British, we'll do something. So this is a stopgap. This is a stopgap to try to keep the Israelis from attacking Iran.
Before I let you go, I want to switch gears to another geopolitical area with which you have familiarity, and that's the recent elections for the Parliament of Russia. Is Vladimir Putin in trouble, or will he still emerge as the strong man from this vote in which his party apparently cheated in a gross proportion, and he managed to end up with 49.9% of the votes in the Parliament?
I think Putin will probably come out on top yet, but I don't think we should forget that a lot of the opposition is just as autocratic as he is. This is another very good example, Judge, of the lunacy of believing that democracies are going to spring up in places where there have been autocracies or dictatorships for 1,600 years, like Russia. We should not be surprised by what's going on in Russia. It's entirely within their national character. Right. And I don't mean that to be negative. It's just the way history has worked in Russia.
Got it. Michael Scheuer, always a pleasure. Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure, Judge. Thank you.
When is it okay to shut down cell service? When the government gets to decide. Rest assured the answer will not please defenders of freedom. The latest outrage against your civil liberties. Straight ahead in the Freedom Files. Stick around.